Hi there. Welcome to our video tutorial discussing the various options on the preference screen in your LambsList account. Once you've logged in, mouse over Setup, and then select the Preferences tab. Once you're on the Preferences screen, you'll notice that there's three separate sections on the screen. The first, General Options, Security Codes, and Labels. We'll start first with the general options. The very first option under general options is going to be the show hidden and inactive records. This option is going to be selected if you are wanting to see any of the families that you've deactivated or rooms, services, so on and so forth that you've deactivated by marking this button and then selecting save at the bottom of the screen. You'll be able to see anything that has been deactivated and then either reactivate it, or you would then be able to just find the family and make any adjustments that you may need to that account. The second option is going to be track pager numbers. By turning this option on, you would be able to enter in a pager number prior to checking a child in, and thereby assigning that pager number to that child. Then when you are looking through some of the different reports, you would be able to see who that pager number was assigned to. If you don't use pagers, though, you can turn that option off, and that field will not appear on the check-in screen. The enabled smart rooms and promotion option is going to be a selection that will allow the LambsList system to identify, based on a child's age or grade, what classroom they should be assigned to. If this option is turned off, all rooms will be available for every child, and the parents would just simply need to choose which room the child would be going into. However, if this option is turned on, the child probably will be very limited in the options that they would be available for based on your setup in the rooms, based again on age and grade. The manual service selection option is going to be for organizations that have multiple campuses. And what this is going to do, by marking this option, you would need to go in and select the services for each location that you want when they become active. So if you were at a North Campus, you would need to go in and activate the North Campus services, and same would be true for if you were at the South Campus. The next option, allow check-in to multiple services. This is going to be an option that will need to be turned on if you have multiple services on a Sunday morning and you'd like the parents, when they're coming to check their kids in to first service, if they're going to stay for both first and second, you would turn this option on, and it would allow the parents to be able to check in not only to the first service but also to the second service, so they don't have to come back to the check-in stations after first service and check their children into the next service. The Use Smart Print option is going to be turned on, so it'll allow you to, once you've set up your Dymo printers, you'll be able to utilize browsers other than Internet Explorer. You will need to use Internet Explorer when you're setting up your printers, but once you have set up the printers, you can, after turning this option on, you can move over to Chrome or to Firefox. The next option down, only allow volunteers to check in as volunteers when they are scheduled. This will be for those organizations that are using the volunteer management system. By turning this option on, volunteers will show as not scheduled if they have not been put on the schedule and accepted that assignment. If the option is not turned on, volunteers would be able to check in at every service for any of the classrooms. And then finally, the print volunteer labels is going to be an option. Obviously, if you want to have your volunteers have a name badge, you would want to have this option on. If this is turned off, no labels will print for the volunteers. There is one last option down at the bottom here, and this is going to pertain specifically to checking in, either using the self-check-in option, where you can put in your phone number or your barcode, scan the barcode. And then also there is a assisted search where you use either the 7-digit phone number or scanning a barcode. And in this option here, you can choose whether or not you want it to be a phone number only, a barcode only, or phone number and barcode. The middle section, security codes, is going to pertain to the numbers that are assigned to the children when they get checked in. Now you would need to choose a code length. Those can be 3, 4, or 5 characters in length, and you can choose whether you want to have a random code assigned so that when the child checks in, each time they check in it's going to be a different number, or you can assign numbers to the kids within their account, and you would need to select the static codes if you were going to assign those numbers to the kids. Now, for a situation where maybe you select static codes but a child does not have a number assigned to them, a random code would be applied to that child when they check in. You also are able to exclude numbers not to be assigned. If you were using the random codes, you could exclude some numbers from being assigned to the children. I will let you know that 666 and 911 have already been excluded. The third section, labels, is going to be how you determine the labels printing off when you're checking the kids in. You can select custom labels, and this will take you to your label screen, and you would be able to select the items, the information that you would like to print on those labels, and then you can select whether you would like to have the labels print automatically when you check the kids in. If you choose not to have this option turned on, you would, or the parents would, need to select the printer icon in order to print off a label. The Show Printer Tools is going to give you the ability to reprint from the check-in screen, so you if you have that option on, you can reprint once a child has been checked in. If this is not on, you will not be able to reprint the child's labels. And then finally, the Print Only One Parent label on Check-in All. This option, if turned on, when you use the Check-in All feature, it will list the children's first name and their security code number on one parent label. If this option is not turned on and you use the Check-in All button, a one parent label will be printed off for each of the children that are being checked in. This concludes our video tutorial on how to use the various options on the preference screen.